Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, where we help you bulletproof your mind through health, fitness and general chit-chat. So today's episode, we catch up over what we done at the weekend, and we also go into some points that we have actually changed our mind on when it comes to health and fitness. So if this is something that you're interested in, let's get into it.
So if anybody watching, Dale talks very quietly and I talk very loudly, so you know who sings "Wake Me Up Before You Go" in the karaoke. It's definitely no Dale.
Gillian gets so fucking pissed off at me though. She's always like, "Can you speak louder?" And I always say, "What?"
So it's not just a me thing.
No, it's definitely me. See, my mum moved in with us for a few days, and she was speaking so quietly. I was like, "Mum, I can't fucking hear what you're saying." And then I was like, "Oh, right, this is where I get it from."
That's how it sounds.
But no, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I actually catch myself sometimes, and I'm like talking to clients. I'm like, "Right, keep your chest up," and I was like, "They didn't fucking hear that."
It's just on your head.
See the other day when somebody's pushing the slides at the other end, and I was like, "Right, last one." I was like, "Why am I even speaking?"
So for anybody watching, right, well, I think we spoke about it in our one, talking about how we edit the podcast. So when we edit the podcast, we can see the waveform. And I've just said to Dale before this, it's quite easy to edit this podcast, but it's only easy for the fact that I speak really loudly and he speaks really quietly, because the waveform is massive and then it's tiny, and I'm like, "Oh, there's Dale speaking, oh, there's me speaking." I don't even need to watch it. I can just watch the waveform and just click.
Well, I'm going to fuck it up for you this week, and I'm just going to hold this tone. I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. I've always been told I've been very softly spoken. I don't know if it's the years.
Is that why you try to get big muscles
to compensate? They see me, I'm like,
and then you start talking like, "Who the fuck's that?"
I think it's maybe years of conditioned fucking call centre talk that you get your wee telecoms voice on. My mate did say to me though, because he was watching some of the podcasts, and he was like, "You're awfully quiet in that one." And I was like, "Oh, it's the mics." And then I'm watching it, and literally my lips are touching the mics, and then I'm like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just my voice. That gain's turned down.
I've been bumped here.
I know. Anyway, what'd you get up to the weekend?
So, my girlfriend met my dad and my stepmom.
Oh, big
Friday.
step.
Big
How was
step
it?
for me. It was good.
Was she nervous?
I think
was
so.
She? Did you make it worse for her, or were you?
I probably made it worse for her.
What did you do?
I probably made her shit fear to my stepmom.
How? She's like, "Don't say this, don't say that." She's fucking nuts.
She's fucking off her nut. She's a big scary bastard.
That's funny.
But she's watching. She was about half an hour late.
Oh, was she? Oh,
yeah.
Why didn't you go together?
No, we were. I was waiting on her to get there ready, and she was just really late.
All right, you're like, she likes people on time. My stepmom, she's not going to like you already.
She hates you already. She just messaged me saying, "Don't bring that bitch."
So was it all right though?
It was good.
What did you do?
We just went to the Parkville in Blantyre for a scran.
Nice.
It was nice food.
I like it there. I'm trying to think of the first time I met Gillian's mum. I can't. It's actually not even come to mind, but I remember
it's a long time ago, mate.
It's 10 years. Like it's over 10 years.
It's a long time.
But I remember when I went to. So I met Gillian online. For anyone that doesn't know, I passed my lifeguard course, and she slid into my DMs and was keen at all the chat and all that. And then I was like, "All right, I suppose."
Oh, well done. Let me take to congratulate you.
No, well, that's why we started speaking. But then I think I met somebody else. And
lovely.
No, that's just true. Conversation just naturally tailed off. Went on a 6-year holiday. Both of us went to Maglev, crossed paths, but never really spoke. And then it was a year later. I remember it was like a Friday night, and I was like on my Facebook, and I was going through my messages and just like, I was like, "I remember her. I've no spoke to her." So I literally was like, "Hey," and she was like, "Hey." That was it. And then I was like, just like basic shit chit chat. To be honest, I actually don't know why she even gave me a chance. But then I hit her with this line. It was 2 for 1 Orange Wednesdays, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to the cinema. If you want to come with us, I'm going to go anyway. But I've got an extra ticket." But I remember going to pick her up, and her dad was like, so Gillian's mum and dad are split up. But her dad used to go around to her house to to visit her and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going on a date and stuff like that." No, a date. I'm going out with my friend, and her dad was like, "What kind of motor does he drive?" And then was checking me on Facebook, and I had my ears pierced. She's like, "He's got his ears pierced. Do you know this?" Still got them pierced. I used to get it tight for that, man, but I actually can't even mind, because we were that young. I think it wasn't as big a deal. I think the older you get, it's a big deal. So it's like, this is serious now.
You at 17, 18, you're not really thinking about
Nah, you don't care.
marrying them.
You
Know
don't
what I mean?
fucking care, I know.
Know what I mean? You're not really thinking about anything else. You're like, fuck it.
I know, it's just not a relationship. Have you met her?
No, yet. No.
You nervous?
No,
When's that coming up?
I don't get nervous.
You say that, you're coming up.
No,
Dale, I'm nervous.
See, when it comes to meeting people, I don't really get nervous. No. It's a strange thing that I get nervous for so many things, but no meeting people.
Like
it's
what?
weird. What?
Like what?
Well, many things. Many things.
Lifting weights.
I'm probably being nervous for walking up to a heavy squat and I'm for meeting other people's parents and that.
Think so?
Aye.
Well, you can't take daddy's girl, so that's a nerve wracking thing, mate.
Aye.
I've got a funny story. I never thought to.
Did you ask Gillian's dad? Like, obviously, I'm going to marry your daughter.
I knew I was going to do it. I proposed to Gillian in Dominican Republic, and I knew I was going to do it, but I don't know why I didn't ask beforehand. And he was flying back from Vegas, and I was in Dominican Republic, so try to coordinate the fucking time zones. It wasn't happening, so I left him a voicemail, and then I phoned Gillian's mum and let her know. But they kind of knew it was happening.
Aye, what did they say? No, fuck off.
Too late. It was already proposed. So I was like, can I say no now?
How come you didn't do it in advance?
I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I'd got there. I had to ring for like 2 months. So you could try to get that over to Dominican Republic without her. Like, it was so nerve wracking. So I rolled the engagement ring in some socks, and I rolled some socks into another pair of socks and put them to the bottom of my hand luggage bag. So I was like, I'm not putting them in a case. And I went through the scanner, and then I was like, whams, if that's what sets it off. And then I was walking through, and I beeped. So I was getting searched down, and Gillian picked up the bag and was putting all my stuff back in my bag. And I'm like, at the airport. I was like, I'm just going to propose.
He's got drugs.
I'm going to need to propose in fucking Glasgow Airport instead of Dominican. But no, I don't know. I actually don't know. I remember I only actually told my dad, my mate, and that's all I knew.
Before you were going to do it?
I think I was just like, no nervous, but I was just so overwhelmed with trying to plan it. And then I was like, fuck, I forgot about asking. And I was like, right. And I was looking at the weather app. What's the nicest day? I was trying to get sunset, but
it's a big thing.
Aye, it all worked out.
So I'll tell you a story. See my sisters, man.
You allowed to tell this?
I don't know. That's what I'll be like, we're here now. I don't think they listen to it anyway, right? But
share this with James's sister.
No. Right. So nobody find her on Facebook.
You're making this worse for yourself.
But I'm going to be hated here for this, but it's funny. So you planned it, you took her here, you were looking for the right weather, blah blah blah. You're looking for the perfect picture, and then you'll never forget it for the rest of your life. He proposed to her in her room.
That's what I was going to say.
She was fucking raging.
Oh man, was she fuming?
I want to marry, but what the fuck's this?
But I know friends that the partner, she knew that her pal that her man was like
going to do it.
They were going to do it, so she went, chose the ring, and was like, propose to me here at this hill.
Nice.
So like it was like super planned out.
I don't like that.
And then I know somebody else who's just like chucked the ring. And was like, by the way, and was like, what? You proposing? I was like, I done it in a hotel room. So some people are like dead cheesy with it, but
I don't know.
Well, how do you think, if you got a way that you envision, will you be in public or will yours be private?
Well, no, I don't know. I think it's about making the women feel special.
Aye.
I'm pretty sure you.
But some people can be mortified in public.
You wanted to make Gillian feel special.
Aye.
It wasn't just so much about you; it was more about her, wasn't it?
Aye, of course. I remember like meeting Gillian, and she wasn't like a
soppy.
Like a lovey-dovey type person. I was like, oh man, if I ever did propose, like, she's not going to want none in public. And then the longer we were together, she was like, I want, like, they coordinated dances in the like New York Square. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. It was like air balloons, fucking Paris, and all that sort of stuff. So, but I played it off.
It's weird how like if Gillian was with you for a while, she changes. You know what I mean?
I know. You change. But we meeting young as well, I think. Being in your 20s and just developing through your 20s, just luck. I think there is a bit of luck that plays that we both were on the same path and we're growing as a person. But that I remember because I proposed on a wee pierway that walked out to the ocean. I remember pulling the ring out of my pocket and I was hot, like I was holding it so fucking tight.
Nice,
because there was so many. There's a big slat that fell into the ocean, and I was like, imagine doing that. I gave my phone to a guy to like take a video. And he had it on the video and he thought it was a camera, so he kept pressing it and stopping it and pressing it. So I got 3 seconds.
Don't fucking do that!
I was like, this is the one opportunity, so I need to merge all them together. But aye. So
Also, it was loads of wee videos.
there's 3 separate videos at the moment turning in. But aye, that was it. That seems like ages ago. I can't believe that's us 6 months married already.
Aye. How's it been?
Didn't think 6 months later I'll be opening a gym and leaving my leaving my job. That's what we said last night. It's like, can you believe like for that day that this would be happening? I'm like, no way.
No.
And then I was like, what's going to happen 6 months from now?
Who fucking knows, man?
It's going to be crazy.
So that leads us on. What were you up to the weekend?
If there's any carpet fitters that listen to this, man, how the fuck do you do your job? Like, I was just saying before we started this podcast that my dad's a joiner, so I feel like I've got joinery in my blood, but this weekend kind of realised that I don't have the mental capacity or problem solving skills to cut a corner.
I'm a qualified engineer, and I swear to God,
I know people look at you like, what?
I swear to God, like, see that kind of job, I just fucking hate it. You're either that kind of person or you're just no.
I think,
and I really was not.
My mate Sam came over and gave his hand, but that was still, he's an engineer. He's an engineer for Openreach, and he's like, I do this way, and then I was like, no. Got a YouTube video on, the guy's like, flip it on its head, do this, do that, easy peasy, and I was like, boom, 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 and then it was fucking half.
I mind when I watched that DIY video on doing the silicone on your bath, I'm like, easy peasy. He just scraped it off. I'm like, right, no ball, man.
Lick your finger.
This stuff was fucking coming off.
It's solid, mate.
And I was like, what the fuck? And I swear to God, I scraped for about 2 hours. When finally all the silicone was off, I probably ruined the bath. And then I done all the silicone, and then
it fucked up again.
No, it was alright, but it took me about 4 hours to just silicone the bath.
Mate,
that was it.
I'm
and I'm like, she kept like, I remember who I was staying with, they came in, I'm like, what the fuck's happening? I was like, I don't fucking know. I was like, this guy done this in half an hour.
I know.
I was like, right, maybe because he's good at it, I'll do it in an hour and a half.
Aye.
I done it eight times. It took me longer than him.
I know. Like, see tradespeople, like,
they've got efficiency.
You're smashing it, but I will be in a position where next time I go to do this, that I've got enough money that I can pay them to do it. But to open this gym, I need to obviously do everything with minimum cost to get it to a decent enough standard. So put the carpet tiles in, but no joke, must have been about 18 hours of work the weekend there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Went up to Gillian's Mills for dinner, which was good. Don't know, did you smell my food this morning?
No.
So I brought leftover turkey, pigs in blankets, mash, tatties.
You having Christmas dinner already?
I've had that already. I've not been up to Gillian's Mum's in a wee while, so she wanted to have everybody up for
a nice dinner.
What do they call it in America?
Thanksgiving.
A Thanksgiving dinner, so that's what it was. But Gillian's Mum's like, just help yourself, like, take whatever you want home. So there was a big tub of turkey, and I was like, Gillian, this is for us. And my brother-in-law was like, I'm taking the cake then. I was like, cool, I'll get all the meat.
I don't want see Christmas and that, I would rather have 3 main dinners than anything else.
That's my favourite meal of the year.
Apart from, I like the soup.
The soup?
See if you have good soup.
Love a good soup.
Ooh.
What's your favourite meal?
I got asked this the other day, actually, off one of my clients. So if I was to make like a meal myself or
chicken
something,
and rice.
No.
Bodybuilder.
I would have a good steak cooked in a good place. Definitely some really good vegetables, some with butter over it, and then some nice peppercorn sauce. Not too much peppercorn sauce.
Is that your meal? That's your death row meal?
That is my death row meal. Aye. But if it's like unhealthy food or not as nutritious as like to call it these days, it's got to be a beef curry with chicken fried rice and salt and pepper chips out of Lee Wong and Moss End.
Aye,
100%. It is the dog's bollocks.
You think so?
Oh mate,
I think I've ever had a beef curry. I swear to God, I'm a chicken guy.
Mate, right. So obviously the Chinese that I used to work in is fucking phenomenal. It's so fucking tasty, mate. Like, I can't even describe it. So that but see, the thing is, it's no good for you.
no 7 days a week. I
had it 4 days in a row one time because I used to work there. So
I was going to say, so you would get a free meal every time you're on shift, and you used to do delivery drive like every single day.
Aye.
Did you take them every single day?
Aye.
Did you?
Aye.
Bastard.
No, but what I ended up doing was getting boiled rice and then the curry.
Aye,
and I wouldn't have all the curry sauce. I would scoop out the meat and then put a wee bit of curry sauce in the rice. So it wasn't too bad. It didn't make me feel pure shite. But when I had 4 in a row, right, like full Buna scrans.
The baddies.
And I woke up with the worst migraine in my life, and I was like, "There's no coincidence here."
A wee pregnant belly, constipated.
Aye, like a sore belly, fucking sore head. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? and I was no right for the full day, and then I woke up next day fine. I was obviously just
and you were like, aye, right, I need to change my life.
I
I need to change things.
Can I do that?
Need to change things. So for the day, we wanted to talk about what it was an interesting thing that you brought up yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday, aye.
And you said, have a think about what is some things that you have changed your mind on when it comes to health and fitness from when you started, which I thought was quite a good, interesting question. But then I was like, nah, I knew everything right from the get-go.
Did you fuck?
I researched everything and nothing's going to change my mind. So wrist wraps, belts, all that sort of shit, you can all get to fuck.
Yeah, fucking bam.
So what was one thing that you had then?
So, see, before I started personal training, obviously, I was training, and you train yourself in a certain way, and you're like, everybody can train this way.
And you're like, why isn't everybody doing this?
Yeah, you're like, I'm in good shape, I feel good. What the fuck's everybody doing? You fucking bellends. But that's not how it goes. So the first thing that I would say is no. So this isn't fully, like, exactly what I thought, but it's not exactly what you eat. It's more of how people are eating. Right. That's causing them a lot of their issues.
What, with their hands or with their knife and fork?
Finger food. No, but it's their eating habits that are causing most people their problems, and not specifically what they're eating.
The actual food.
Because what it is it is what they're eating that's causing them to gain weight, because it's extra calories. But
it's the mindset.
It's the habits that are causing them more to eat that kind of food. So it's the habits that are causing them to end up having cravings and being hungry all the time, skip meals here, there and everywhere, and then that's why they eat the food they do. So it's like, I used to go, why are you eating that food? Why are you eating that food? But it's you need to put this in place, so then you're eating a specific food that you've picked, you've planned out first, and then you won't eat that food, instead of just don't eat that food. Do you get me?
Aye.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I didn't really know what binging was until I came into PTing. But like you said there, I remember going like, right, cake is bad, like sweets are bad, chocolate's bad. And then that's something that, as I came into health and fitness, that I started to kind of change as well. It's no, like you said, that in itself isn't bad. It was kind of like mind blowing to think that actually you need to think of health holistically. That's probably one thing, because I thought, in all honesty, I didn't think nutrition was that big a deal. I was like, just people aren't working out, people aren't lifting weights. If you lift weights, you'll look like, this is the one like bad thing about the bodybuilding space. I was like, if I want to look like a bodybuilder, I need to train like a bodybuilder. And I started training like that, and I was like, I've honestly, I've said this before, I vividly remember looking at Simeon Panda's videos and going, right, if I just give his workout plan 6 weeks, I'll be fucking jacked. I'll be huge by the end of it. And then I'd get to the end of it, and because I missed, over the course of 6 weeks, I might have missed 6 days, so I might not have done a 6-day split, I might have done a 5-day split. Yeah. Then I'd be like, it's because I missed those days. And then I started getting into the food science, right, I need to fucking pack in the calories side of things. Just on that, one thing that just came to mind, protein. That's one thing I've changed my mind on. You don't need as much protein as what I initially thought. So I thought going in, so I think the vast majority of people underconsume protein. Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, for me and my journey going into health and fitness, I thought the more protein you eat, the bigger you're going to get. That was completely wrong. So I thought you'd have to have 3 times your body weight, 4 times your body weight protein, and I've been consuming for a good part of my 20s. I was doing that, and then I was like, actually, it's kind of like wasted. Like, why not enjoy what carbs have off the offer, what fats have to offer?
100%.
When I can bring that tolerance back. And then digestion, like that was another thing, like digestion with high amounts of protein.
Your wee belly, man.
Aye, my belly, my fucking arse. The wind, just this is just the grind, this is what you have to do. So
that's one thing, obviously, that's one thing that I always say to people, you don't need as much protein as you think, but obviously, as you said,
a lot of people still underconsume it.
Because they don't have protein in most meals of the day. Like, what do you have for breakfast? Oats. Right. When did you have your protein? What did you have for lunch? Oh, just a sandwich. What the fuck is this?
2 slices of ham on it.
You fucking baby. But like, I remember, I can't remember what I was reading, but it was something to do with how much per pound of lean body mass you have. And then I was like, I can't remember who I was speaking to, but I'm quite into, what's happening?
No. I'm just talking, sorry.
I'm quite into mass, I'm quite into like working things out, and I worked out for myself, and I only needed like 160 grams of protein.
Exactly, mate.
And I was like, if I only need 160,
why is these guys eating like 3-4?
Exactly. And as you said, you can enjoy your carbs, you can enjoy your fats so much more, and that they're more beneficial to you. Like protein, there's
a lot of nutrients that you're missing if you're
100%.
Protein gives you a lot of them, but there's still value to veggies.
You need the energy, carbs, then
your fatty stuff, fish, and all that good stuff. So,
so is there what would you say that you've definitely changed your mind on then?
Cardio's been one that's changed in the last year. I used to marry the camp of like, so I need to be careful how this, because it's still like deeply rooted into me that I still strongly believe too many people do cardio to lose weight, and it's not the right way to lose weight.
100%.
And I've not changed my thought on that. So doing cardio, I used to think doing cardio is a waste of time. Because it's something that most people never stick to. They do it for the wrong benefits, and there's other ways to lose weight. However, I've changed my mindset a wee bit in this, or changed my outlook on it. And I think cardio still belongs in everyone's programming, but just not as the efficiency driver to lose weight. And I think too many people do that. Yeah. And in all honesty, I'm thinking, I say that as if I've got fucking time to do this, but I'm thinking about doing another bodybuilding show to not to place or anything, but to document the process of going that you do not need to be doing cardio fucking 15 weeks out, because your body adapts to what you're doing, and then you're stuck doing that. And you keep going higher and keep doing more and more and more. But I think there is the one thing I overlooked, and even though the research is true, when you look at this, one thing I overlooked was actually the benefits to your heart health, to your longevity of implementing VO2 max type training into your programming. So that's something that I've purposely avoided, because I was like, what's the point? But like what we said to before, I want to be able to run. I want to be able to, like, if something ever happens, I can do a sprint, I can run away from somebody, I can run towards something, but I don't have that explosiveness power to be able to do this fundamental life skill.
Exactly. So I'm actually going to look at, there was a study done the other day talking about how cardio can actually increase gains.
Muscle building. I was
Brad Schoenfield.
Eugene Taylor was talking about this and this,
because that was from his paper.
Aye.
So there's studies coming out that doing cardio can actually increase your protein synthesis. They're looking at it at the moment, and I've actually wrote down the same thing as you. Cardio is actually good for you. Yeah, you should be doing cardio
at least twice a week, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
But what I have wrote
Zone
here,
2.
what I have wrote here is light intensity, steady state cardio.
Yeah.
So, like, mate, if you want to run on a treadmill, run, fine. If you want to go on a bike, fine. So this morning I came in, I done 5 minutes skipping. That shit's hard, man.
Solid into calves on fire.
But what I also like about skipping is you need the coordination, because you always need to think about your wrists. You always need to think about your feet. It's not just bang, bang, bang. And
that's the one value, just any cardio movement, like anything that's
the coordination.
The coordination.
Do you know what I mean?
There's another.
So it gets your brain, your cognition going first thing in the morning. This is the best I've felt on a Monday in a while. And it's because I only done 5 minutes of skipping. I done 5x5 box jumps. I wouldn't really call them strength training, more power, but a wee bit of cardio, because you're back and forth. And then I done single leg squats. Yeah. So I would say they're all like more on the cardio / power, and I feel brilliant. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like something that people should add in, but see that high intensity interval training, I still hate that.
I think that shouldn't be for most people until they've got a good foundation.
That's only like, for sport. That should only be for sport specific. Building your cardiovascular for sport.
And if you're interested in just having explosiveness, like say you're going like Andy's going on a snowboarding holiday, so it's not that we're doing explosive type movements to carry that over. Yeah. But I think like it goes back to that analogy. Your foundations of a house, there's weeks and weeks where the cement's getting laid, the ground's getting digged to make sure everything's at a solid base. Yep. And then before you know it, the house is built up and the plasterboard's on, the electricity, and the house is ready to be sold. But that happens very quick. So that's what I'm saying. You need to put the foundations in, and lifting weights, doing these compound lifts, compound movements, building that foundation, and then you can play with these other aspects, see what you enjoy. But like anything that needs to be done for a long period of time, you're going to have imbalances. So
yeah, do cardio for your brain cognition, for your heart health. Never do it to lose weight. Yeah, if you're doing it to lose weight, you're doing it wrong. We know that anyway, but before I was a personal trainer, I was like, fuck doing cardio, I'll just train harder on the weight side. When I started adding a bit of cardio in, I felt my work capacity went up when I was training. I could do more weights for longer, and it was just simply because my heart was better. Well, my breathing was better.
That's what Eugene said on that. He said, take two versions of you, version A and version B, and it doesn't matter what you're taking, whether you're on gear or you're not on gear, both of you are following a muscle building program. Version A of you, who introduces a wee bit more VO2 max training and has a better cardiovascular system, will build more muscle than version 2, and that's what that study's pointing to as well. Something I'm going to play about with a wee bit more.
Yeah, that's why first I came in first thing this morning. I was like, I'm going to do a wee bit of different training on Monday.
And look at him already, he's fucking jacked.
Jax!
So I'm an extra small ASOS top.
It's actually just a small. No X before it. No X.
So what, you got any more that you changed your mind on?
Right, so we spoke about this in the past, but this is something that I definitely have. Most people don't actually have the time to gym 4 or 5 times a week to get, and they're not able to get in the best shape of they possibly can. They aren't able to do it. So before I was like, everybody can get in the best shape. I'm not saying people, this can get took the wrong way. I don't want to get took the wrong way. You can get in really good shape, but you definitely can't get in the best shape you can if you've got so many other stresses in your life going on. If you've got so many other priorities, it's impossible. It doesn't mean you shouldn't train 2 to 3 times a week. I'm not saying that, but there is so many people out there who don't have the time. And obviously, if you're stressed, going for that 4th or 5th workout is probably detrimental to your health. Other bit like you might build a wee bit muscle, but it will destroy your mental health in the way, and you will destroy the rest of the relationships or your work life and the process, which is not the point in the gym. The point is health. So I had a client earlier, and she was like, the goal is be healthy on the outside and the inside. And I was like, that is the fucking goal, because she's got kids, she's got a job, so she's got a lot of stresses, and that's all she wants, and that's all most people should strive for. Look, if you want to look really good, fucking.
Well, I think just to your point there, like being in the best shape, what that looks like from person to person is different, and that's going to be a bit misconstrued, because we're saying, like, when you look at like bodybuilders stepping on stage, for me, I'm like, that's best shape. But if you ask the average person, it's like, I just want maybe a wee bit of 6-pack, or I just want my waist to be a wee bit slimmer.
But getting a 6-pack is really hard.
Not well. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, from that person and then to the person that just wants a few inches off the legs.
Most people do want a 6-pack, or they go, I wouldn't mind it. And see, most people say, I don't want it at all.
You're lying. No, but this is. I know you've got this down as your point, but most people say this, but then, like, there is ways to achieve that with 3 days a week.
No,
like,
there is, but it's going to be a lot harder.
Aye, it's not going to be easy.
That's fine. That's fine. And like that, I was actually thinking about it the other day. I seen a post the other day, and people expect so much in 3 months of training, training 3 times a week.
But you've had 10 years of fucking bad behaviour.
Exactly.
So it's not going to happen in 3 months.
Exactly.
I actually had this conversation with one of my clients coming up to years training him. The guy's a type 1 diabetic, so he's extremely challenged in terms of his nutrition and what he's been doing. And look, we're a long way from getting where we need to be. And he says, looking at himself, he doesn't see much changes. However, he feels better. His lower back isn't sore at work, and because we've been running through about four different phases over the last year. He still feels he's got a gut. And I said to him, look, this is where it should prove to you that you've only kind of been working out 2-3 days more or less consistently over the past year, and it's going to come down to the nutrition piece, and your nutrition piece is challenged a wee bit more from the insulin levels and how your body responds to that. So until you're ready to like make a step in that's when you'll make changes to the weight loss or fat loss, should I say?
Yeah.
So try to think if there's another one, like what you said, like working out 3 days a week and working out 5 days a week. I think it was more back to what I was saying, nutrition side of things. It's not health. So my view on health changed after I done bodybuilding, because I was like, health is bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't healthy. And then I realised, you know what, health. I remember hearing a podcast, and I was in the gym one day, and I remember we were giving out free cupcakes.
Yeah.
And I remember one girl turning around and saying, "Oh, I'm not allowed to have that. My coach doesn't allow me. I need to stay in my calorie gate." And I was like, that ain't healthy. Like, is the times in place for that? Yes, but if there's something going on that's a birthday or a family occasion or the first time you meet up with friends, one thing that I used to I've shifted my mind on is, like, I was the guy that took chicken and rice to a night out, or I wouldn't drink and I would just drink water. But that was like the one time that I was catching up with my pals that year. Yeah. That was, I used to see that, I'm being healthy here because I ain't drinking, I ain't going out for a meal, but I never go out. So the healthy option for me was then actually relax a wee bit, let your hair down, chill out with your pals, like have a few drinks and because I was so uptight. I was like, I can't be arsed with this, I can't be bored doing this. I just want to get back to my meals and my routine and stuff.
So like, I know what you're saying, but I go out and I don't drink with my mates, and it's not for that reason. It's just, I just don't like to wake up rough. And I don't feel that's unhealthy. But when I used to do it for that reason, oh, I want to smash the gym next week. I used to enjoy the night out the same.
Aye.
If I go now and I just go,
that's what I mean. You have to change it. Yeah, because it can be two ways. You can go out and go, I'm not drinking.
You can do the exact same thing, but if you're thinking about it in the wrong sense, or not the wrong sense,
it's like a holistic thing. It's like going, right, do I do this often? No. Right.
What's your purpose? What's my reason?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a healthy option? Am I just not drinking with my mates to have a good time, just so I can have a good gym session, to look good for what?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? What the fuck are you looking good for? That's the thing. Like, you're only looking a little bit better for yourself.
And this is a hard one, because it's each their own. Because that might be, like you said, that's your healthy outlook, and for someone else's it might not be. But for equally someone else's who's drinking all the time, that ain't a healthy. No. Everything needs to be done like holistically. So you get the physical, the mental, and even the spiritual, and whatever you want to call it.
I think being relaxed and being healthy and not being healthy, being happy most of the time is how you should judge how things are going. If you went that night out, you weren't really happy, and you woke up, you weren't really happy, and you're only happy. And I remember how I used to feel. I was only happy in the gym at a certain point, and that is where everything else wasn't right. Do you know what I mean? So if you go out and you're happy, and you wake up and you're happy, and you go to the gym, you're happy, you're doing everything right. But if there's spaces,
you're on the right track.
If there's spaces where you're not happy, you need to look and go, right, maybe I need to change that, or maybe I need to change how I'm thinking about it.
Right, here's one then.
Right, go for it.
Wrist wraps.
You changed your opinion on it?
I'm not changed, but remember one of the first episodes we were talking about strength training and stuff like that. I just been in the environment where you guys use them more than I do.
Yeah.
I've went from being like very
against.
I'll admit it, I was very against them. No, from the point, I don't know, like, see, when you're starting out in fitness, you're like, right, what's the common theme? Like, everybody uses this, right? You know what? I'm going to go against this, because there's no many people saying this message. So then you draw attention because you get a wee bit controversial.
Yeah.
And I think that was a wee bit under my skin. So I was like, you know what?
I'm going to go against
because I go on my feed and I know like 4 or 5 good friends of mine who are PTs, and I'm like, they all use wrist wraps, and I'm going to make a video today. Belts and wrist wraps are for pussies, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Same way bodybuilding split. So I think the more overall message here is nothing, like anything you learn from anyone has to be taken in context. So a bodybuilding split can be the right thing for you, but it can be the wrong thing for someone else. And I think this is something I thought it was so black and white. So when I seen the messaging of don't use wrist wraps,
like, I'm going to go with that.
It made sense to me, and I was like, well, what's the point? Because you want to work other muscles, but then I didn't take into the fact that your goal is actually to grow your back, for example, using you as an example, but your goal is to solely grow your back. So why would you not use a tool that helps you that? And then I thought, well, what's it to me to think, like, because I'm trying to convince you to change your goal to my goal, or change the goal to I think is a better goal for you.
Yeah,
that's not my job. You get your goal. If you want to train to be like a strength athlete, to train to be like the smallest bodybuilder that stepped on stage, and then do what you want to do. No, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the word is that I'm trying to say, like what this is, but I definitely came into health and fitness and thought this is the way everybody should be doing it. Aye, this is the way everybody should be doing it.
Tunnel vision.
Aye, and this was me taking a balance, because I was like, people are training 6 days a week. People need to start training 3 days a week. People are doing bodybuilding splits. People should be doing full body stuff.
Yeah.
And even though I stand by a lot of those points, it doesn't really matter as long as you're doing something that you love to do. That's all that really matters. That is a message that I've changed my mind on. It swapped to in the last. It was probably in the first couple of months actually PTing people.
Yeah,
because I was like, right, I'm pushing this agenda doing a full body. If you don't like doing full body, cool. Do your chest days on the Monday. See if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's all that really matters. And what's it like? Whether you'd say it's quote unquote healthy to do a chest day and every time you work out, probably no. But it goes back to your point. What's your goals? What do you want? I want a bigger chest. Cool, do that.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
I have wee legs, you pussy bitch.
It's quite funny. Like, I would say I've got more compliments on my quads than I ever had when I was shredded with bigger arms, shoulders, and chest and abs.
That's what I was actually just telling my client this today, right? I was walking up to Morrison's and I had my shorts on, and that guy was looking at me. I was like, "The fuck's this cunt looking at?" I'm ready.
You want to fight?
I was like, he's like, "Some quads on you, mate." I was like, "What?
What kind of compliments is that?"
I was like, "Oh, cheers, mate." He's like, "No, I was looking at size name," and then he walked past me and just kept walking. I'm like,
"That's the weirdest thing ever."
I'm like this, but then you're like, I actually prefer like getting compliments
I'm
on
the
my
same.
quads,
I'm the same.
and my booty. You know
I don't know what it is. I think it's whatever's outside the norm, isn't it?
Aye.
So when I was in Mexico for a honeymoon, right, we didn't go to Coco Bongos, we went to like a club across from it, and Gillian's like, she stand up, we met like a couple from Leeds, and the two girls are up and fucking dancing, doing their thing on this wee stadium bit, and me and the guys there, and these like rowdy guys who like America were behind us, and they're like crashing into everybody. The guy tapped me in the shoulder, and I turned around and he like said to me, he goes, "You've got fucking, how many times do you squat?" Like, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Your arse and your quads, they look amazing. I don't, no homo and all that." And I was like, "Oh, cheers." I was the dead cheers. I was like, "Oh, cheers, man." John's like, "Actually, you thought there was a wee bit of confrontation because I've been dead rowdy." And she was like, "Is everything all right?" I goes, "Aye." She's like, "What was he saying?" He said he's got a nice arse. And she's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake." I was real chill. I was like, "Ah."
They kind of compliments are well better. No, you've got nice shoulders, nice chest, nice arms.
It'll swap, because then everybody will start training legs and arse, and then it'll be like, nobody's got big biceps. So somebody starts training.
Everyone's getting tiny biceps. Nah, legs are too hard to change. For people to change that.
But I do see a lot more people training legs these days.
Oh, aye, the younger generation are more in it.
Like, I think we are in that at the gym, and like, they're like, so he's like, because he always tells me where he gets his shorts free because it makes his legs and his arse look good. This is so weird talking about this, but I'm like, were they Nikes free? And he tells me, I'm like, extra small. Give me them.
You're not even lying either. You know, you dirty bastard.
I've just spent, what have I spent, like £200 on Black Friday at Gymshark.
Have you?
And I always go large, X large, but see when it gets to like the shorts and the trousers, I'm like, medium. Give me medium. Yeah, that's what I've actually got these. That's why these look so good on me, like my quads and stuff.
Right. I don't do things like that, to be fair.
Ah, you're a liar.
I don't.
Would you just small all the time? Is that right?
Right. I don't think I could fit in smalls anymore. My legs are too long.
All right. Big lanky.
Aye, man. Big lanky femurs.
Right, you get anything else?
So I've got one more. When I first started Gym 24, I was like, nah, no many people need to train their abs. You know what I mean? You just need to do squats and deadlifts, and you'll build a strong core. This is something that I've realised when I've been watching people, and they still don't really know how to brace properly, and it's only because they don't have a strong core. That is the only thing. So I would say that everybody, and I'm going to move everybody onto this, should have some sort of isolation core training. Not the way that most people train their core, like Russian twists and all that shit.
Hundreds of fucking reps in
just simple crunches and planks.
That's why I've always had it. Like, I'll always stick to, most of my clients will be on some sort of full body routine just because of the frequency. That's the demographic that I attract. Even for people that try to make strides in their fitness program, in their shape of their body, I'll still program some sort of isolation, and I do it for that reason.
Yeah.
I always say, like, because they're like, "What's the best exercise for my abs?" I'm like, honestly, see if you can properly brace in your squats and your deadlifts and your compound lifts, it'll be really good. But equally, I always get told that when I was competing, I've got really good genetics for my abs. And that might be the case, but I don't think it's a fucking coincidence that back when I was in third year and I was doing 50 sit-ups like every night, like proper crunching, squeezing, when I started working out, I'd put emphasis and I would train my abs like any other fucking muscle. I don't know why everything gets chucked out the window when we train our abs.
No,
like, why is that the case? It's like, how do you train your shoulders? How do you get bigger shoulders, bigger back? You do strength sets, you do different cycles of them, you do 4 sets, you take rest in between, you do 8 to 12 reps. Now, obviously, a smaller muscle group can handle more load, but you would still train your abs the same. So I started training my abs that way.
Nice. It's so strange how everything's so differently about it.
I know. So I think, like,
it's because it's like for years and years and years and years on men's magazines, it's the abs.
Aye.
First thing.
It's all these stupid crunch workouts. It's the same with the booty builder workouts.
It's just marketing.
Aye, it is. You're right. It's marketing. But you can, like, if you like your abs is muscle that you can develop and you can build muscle on, and the thicker or more developed your abs are, the higher it will shine through at a higher body fat.
Yeah.
I'm sitting the kind of highest body fat I've sat this year, and I can see my abs a little bit through there because my development of those muscle grips are
it's
quite
like
thick.
Eddie Hall.
Aye, exactly. Well, that's a good thing. I know he's got big GH gut and all that, but,
but
his abs still show through them.
But he's deadlifting, squatting crazy numbers, and that's because he's got a strong core, and you can still see his abs at like 20-odd% body fat. I know, it's mental. So that's an extreme example, but you like, if you like train it like any other muscle takes time to build, so do it over the course of months and years, and I guarantee you, like, you look back at that and you'll be like, I'm sitting at the same body fat percentage, but look how more lean I look. It's just because you've got that's the goal of the muscle. So I would say one thing, it's not something that I've changed my mind on, right? but it's something that I have realised that I didn't expect, and it's so many people's bodies don't function how they're supposed to.
Like in
people's hips are so fucked, their ankles are so fucked, their shoulders are fucked. I was like, I didn't actually expect, because like, I mean, I might have some imbalances, but like I was so shocked at how many people come in, like they've went for years and years with these with like internal rotation of the hips stuck in there, or like one of their shoulders comes down before the other one every single time, and I'm like, would you like, did you never go and get this fixed? Like, and that's where the health comes in. Now these people, now I've showed them, like, this is what's happened, this is what's happened, this is what's happened. I was like, this isn't my qualification to fix you, so you will need to go to somebody else. But now they'll know in future. Look, I tell them the problem.
You can change it.
I say this is the issues that this will lead to. When you're 40, 50, 60 and you've let this go, you're not going to be able to move your shoulder properly, you're not going to be able to walk properly if you don't fix your hips.
I'm really interested to see what our industry's like in the next 10 years, because most of our friends, and that was the types of jobs they got. There's some tradespeople, it's repetitive motion, but more people sitting down, isn't it?
So many.
So in terms of tight hips, and not a lot of these people work out. I can think of like most people from my year in school, and there's a handful of them that maybe work out. Now, there's the fact that some of them already have problems and they're not even 30 yet. So just think of what it's going to be like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line.
So bad, really bad.
That's why I want to go against that message. Just like, I feel like there's an understanding out there that when you get old, that's just the fact of getting old, but it doesn't mean that's why I've changed. I put that in my wee catchphrase. But just because you're getting older doesn't mean you need to feel old.
So that is another thing. It's not something I changed my opinion on. It's more something that I'm like
more passionate
about. So see, when somebody gets no well, I'm like, have you looked at their diet? And most of the time their diet's been terrible for years and years and years, and I'm like, it's not really.
Why would it be my diet? It's just I don't feel well.
Then people are like, how can he's gone through this time? How can you say that? I'm like, because that is what's been happening. They've been eating terribly for a long, long time. They've ended up no well with something serious, and then I go, oh, it's a diet, or it could have, as a high possibility, it could have been a diet. No. This is genetic. Do you know what I mean? But they've went for years and years and years, not training, not lifting weights. Not eating properly, not being active, and then they've ended up no well, and you're like, look, it's going to happen at one point.
I know.
It's going to happen at one point. I'm seriously passionate about it. Like, see when something happens, I'm like, look, the diet's fucking terrible.
Fix your shit, son.
Do you know what I mean? But they're like, nah, rabbit food, no, that's shite. So don't eat fruits and vegetables, get rabbit food. And I'm like, oh, that's one of the worst phrases. I hate that phrase.
Aye. Cool.
Sorted.
I think that's it. In fact, let's finish in one more, because I want to say it just because I know he listens to it. But rack pulls, I'm not changing my mind in that one. If you know who you are,
I've not changed my mind in that.
I'm only joking.
I'm
only messing. Well, that was a good episode. So thanks as always for tuning in, guys. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to share this, give us a like, drop us a comment, because this helps with our engagement, helps with our your viewed shit when it pops up on YouTube. So that really does mean a lot for us, guys. So you can find us on Instagram at Bulletproof Mindset UK.
And you can find me at Raw Gym Fit.
And you can find me at Coach Crosser. See you guys soon.
Have a nice one.